Key Digital, the experts in digital audio-visual and control systems.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Key Digital Live. I'm here with my good buddy Jonathan Ferry, our VP of Product Education and Experience, and we've got a really cool KD Live this month for you guys. We've got a special guest from QSC. This is Emily Eicher. She is the Ecosystem Product Manager for Q-SYS, Q-SYS being a division of QSC Audio. And Emily, we are so excited to have you here, and we're so excited to talk about this new development between Key Digital and the Q-SYS Technology Partner Program, right? And
yep.
Jonathan, I'll let you take it over from here and share what all this exciting news is all about.
Okay, very good. So Emily's here with us today. And there's been something that we've all been working very hard on, is that now we've officially released the beta version of the plugin for the Q-SYS system, where KD-WP8-2, our 8-button control keypad, is now has a certified plugin for the Q-SYS ecosystem. And so we believe here, we can go ahead and begin the screen share. We think this is going to make a really nice addition to the Q-SYS ecosystem, because it offers a physical button interface. And Dwayne, stop me if you've heard this before, because we have, an iOS app and that kind of thing. But iOS and even touchscreens, they're not for every single application, and so you hear that from time to time. And Emily, is that what you guys were hearing on your side as well at Q-SYS?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been, kind of struggling, and we were struggling until we found you guys, to find something that is like this, that's for those rooms where, a touch panel doesn't necessarily make sense. You just want to turn the display on. You want to switch inputs or, switch camera presets, things like that. This is a really good solution for those types of applications. And, not every room, like you said, Jonathan, not every room makes sense to have that, touch panel. So yeah, we're really excited that we have teamed up with you, and that you're a technology partner, and that we have this awesome plugin to bring to the market for these types of applications.
The other thing I've noticed too, Emily, is that while sometimes it's like, no, we don't want a touch panel, sometimes it's like we do want a touch panel, but we also want a simple offering within that same room so that they can do basic controls, and then the more advanced maybe be on the touch panel as well.
Exactly. Yep.
And we can do that with this in your ecosystem as well.
Yeah. And the cool thing about the plugin, is that you could have multiple of these in a room, let's say, and you could essentially build a video switcher off of that, a matrix switcher, if you wanted to. The great thing about the technology partner program and just Q-SYS and plugins and the ecosystem in general is that we really like to play with others, and we really like to make sure that pretty much anything someone can dream up, that they're able to do it, and do it in the best, most efficient way, so that they can do that, get that job done, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys,
I second that. Dwayne, sorry, because I did the walkthrough of the Q-SYS experience, it was called, right? At the trade show. And I would say that, yeah, whatever you can dream up, you guys made a reality through advanced third-party or advanced integration, bidirectional control with many Q-SYS, QSC products, but also loads and loads of third-party products. So you're really also just, showing your commitment to that, and into making it a ecosystem where third-party manufacturer hardware is welcome to play in, because it all contributes to that larger goal of making those dreams a reality. Our industry, man, it's pretty wild. We take all these different formats of communication, different wiring types, and we're the people, and your customers are the people, our customers are the people that are told, okay, yeah, this is IR from 30 years ago, this is IP from 3 months ago, and you've got to make them play well together, and so there's the fact that you all are going through such efforts and committing so greatly to that is huge. What kind of applications do you have in mind for this 8-button keypad to complement the Q-SYS ecosystem?
Well, like I said, the kind of the possibilities are endless with this type of solution. It's kind of on the integrator, on the end user to decide, I need this, this for my room. But I would say, think about huddle rooms, huddle spaces where you don't have that user interface. You just want to have something that just simply turns things on or does, very basic control, things like that. But then if you scaled this up and you have multiple of them, let's say in a room with another UCI, you could maybe have the UCI that's doing some of the, the camera controlling. You can see your preview, but then you also have this button panel that allows you to very quickly and easily, turn the lights on and off, or, adjust the shades, things like that. Because of the nature of having this plugin now within our ecosystem, it works really well with other third parties that we have plugins for. So you're bringing this together with Q-SYS and all of our other plugins, and now you can do things like shade control, lighting control, obviously audio routing, video routing, things like that. But like I said, it's very much scalable at this point, what you could do. But some of those main applications being conference rooms or training rooms where you just want to have that physical button that somebody can touch. Because, we all live on our phones and on our computers and things like that. But sometimes it is nice to have that tactile, sort of feedback that something's working. And one of the things we really love about this is that you have, the LEDs, we can change the colors and all those things. And being able to, with Q-SYS, programmatically change how those LEDs are behaving. Maybe we're blinking the LEDs, things like that. That really elevates that experience. And that's kind of, what you talked about with Infocom. At Q-SYS, we like to focus a lot on this experience, this high impact space that people are talking about a lot. And the ecosystem really aids that, at QSC and Q-SYS, we have a lot of products. I don't think that we'll ever have all of the products in the entire world. I don't think we're ever going to make, I don't know this, but I don't know if we're ever going to make shades, things like that some of our competitors obviously think is important. We think it's important more so to partner with awesome manufacturers like yourselves and just really bring all of that together so that there are a lot of options for integrators and for the end user to make their system and their experience what they need it to be.
Yeah, I can also reiterate that when we signed up to be part of the Q-SYS Technology Partner Program, I reshared a LinkedIn post that QSC put out about it. And this is a small industry. We all know each other, okay, for the most part. And I don't know, I had probably 3 or 4 of my manufacturer friends with different manufacturers said, hey, Dwayne, how do we become part of the Q-SYS Technology Partner Program? Because we want to do that too. So everybody's very excited about the program. This is our first part into it, and we're very excited about this and what's on down the road for us as well. But I can reiterate, like Jonathan said, I walked through the Experience Center as well, and just to see all the different brands that are not QSC, and that's so refreshing. Like I said, I think we were talking offline. We love to be considered the people who are nice to play with, as well as QSC does. And I love two-way streets, because why try to be everything instead let's partner with the people who do it really well, and we do this really well, and say X microphone company does this very well. Those beamformers were amazing, and and all of that. So it's just very exciting. So I don't mean to detract from what we have going on with the WP8-2, but it is just really exciting.
That excitement is hey, we got a mixed audience here. Emily is a rock star in her own regards, but then this might still be the first look at Q-SYS for some folks that are our normal viewers, Dwayne. So your words go a long way with them for sure. So Emily, then if somebody's getting started with the Q-SYS plugin, and I actually, for example, downloaded the Q-SYS Designer software just this morning to take a look at it. Do you want to kind of describe what the Q-SYS designer is and does for people?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the really awesome things about Q-SYS is that everything within Q-SYS is built off of this one software called Q-SYS Designer. And we can talk about our cloud-based platform as well for monitoring management, but really everything, the heart of Q-SYS is really built inside of Q-SYS Designer. So all of your programming, all that DSP stuff that we've been doing for a long time, all of that has been done in here from the beginning. So within that, we also have Asset Manager, and this is our repository for our plugins. So any plugins that we have certified or ready technology badges for are inside of Asset Manager. So if you install Q-SYS Designer, you get Asset Manager with it, and any plugins in there are available to you at your disposal. And when you install this plugin, you'll also get a sample design, which we'll kind of go over in a minute, but this really offers you kind of a really good view of all the products that we have available for integrators. And one of the things that's really cool is a lot of integrators are actually making their bill of materials off of what we have inside of Asset Manager. So that's really neat, because if you're inside of here as a manufacturer, obviously that's a plus, but also it's a huge plus for our integrators to know that, hey, this thing is supported, this thing works, and it's gonna, be great for the job that I'm working on.
Thank goodness for those people who do their homework up front. The round of applause for them, because that is refreshing to hear. So then inside you even have some like I said, the examples, but we even show here, like, is this something I could just press right here, or is this more just an image?
Yeah, this is just a screenshot. So within each, plugin package, we call them, inside of Asset Manager, you have, your summary of what that plugin does. You have your help documentation links, links to, support or more information on the product itself. Whether or not that plugin is Q-SYS Reflect Enterprise Manager ready, all of those things, all of that information we have available inside the package. So we like to give people a screenshot of, like, okay, this is what the plugin looks like. That way, they don't necessarily have to install it until they're ready, and they can still see what functionality it has.
Nice. And then, as you alluded to, there's some sample designs included in the package as well, in the module, or plugin, pardon me.
Yep. So for this plugin, we created a sample design with 3 kind of main examples. This first example is really showing how you can use the plugin kind of in a very simple, basic way. We've tried to kind of scale it up. So this first example is just doing audio routing. You have the Key Digital plugin and control pins enabled to go into the selector. And then once that router change is made, the feedback for what actual route is selected goes back to the LED. So with this plugin, we have 2 modes. By default, when you drag the plugin into the design, you have what's called Web GUI driven LEDs. So Web Graphic User Interface driven LEDs, which means that Key Digital is driving the LEDs. In Q-SYS driven LEDs, which you can change in the properties, this allows you to decouple the button press from the actual LED feedback. Meaning, let's say you wanted to press the button, but you don't want that button to turn red or blue until the actual change has been made. You could do all of that with the plugin. So it allows you to really kind of customize your user experience.
That sounds super cool.
Like the first.
And I'll say that it wasn't until we started hearing from Q-SYS customers, we were thinking about our keypad more one-directionally in the first generation of the keypad, and then folks wanted to do that. And how cool that was to receive the feedback from you all at Q-SYS, and then see our engineers. We actually released a firmware because we weren't sure. The discussion initially, do we need a Q-SYS firmware and then another firmware? But our engineers were to make it so that there's no firmware loads required at all on the Key Digital side, just to be clear about between those 2 modes. And I really like how Q-SYS is is controlling the LEDs that way, whether it's red or blue and so on. Those are the colors we offer for now. How about this video routing, display power and program gain control? I'll zoom in on it as well.
So this is an example of the button panel kind of doing more than one application in, in a room or in a space. So, you could have video routing happening where we're taking the control pins into a selector, into our AV stream router, and routing our NV32H video via that AV stream router, or, you want to be able to turn the display on. You want to see with feedback on the LEDs when that display is actually on. Or maybe you just want to very simply change the volume of the program volume in the room. One other cool thing that we did in the plugin is we allow you to actually take the key digital and make it the hardware interface between your serial devices. So if you use the RS-232 port on the key digital and plug that into your display, let's say, you can then take that virtual serial pin, which you see up in the upper right-hand corner of the plugin, and down on the right side of this screen here, you'll see the ViewSonic display. Right now we have our serial port from our NV going in there, but you could very much just as easily take the key digital plugins virtual serial port and plug that in instead. And then now you have the button panel. Maybe the button panel is closer to the display than another serial port. So that makes it super easy for you to just drag that virtual serial pin into another plugin, and then you're driving all of that control from the button panel itself.
That's incredible. Yeah. So the WP8-2, which Dwayne and I have done these kind of live streams to let folks know that the product is released and everything, and we dove in deeper, but I forgot to even give a slight product introduction for the WP8-2. It said it has an IR and an RS-232 port built in, which you all are using the open API because it's just going back to wanting to play well with others. We've published how do you control those the IR port. How do you send an IR burst through that port? How do you send an RS-232 string through that port? And you all have taken advantage of that on the RS-232, which is super awesome. Man, yeah, cool stuff we're cooking up here. And then the third and final design.
Yeah, so this one is really exciting to me because it actually shows how you can use press and hold functionality. So first thing, we have just basic camera selection, which is very similar, obviously, to the audio and video routing where you're just selecting between cameras. But we can also track whether or not you've pressed and held a button, which means that, let's say you press a button, it would switch to a preset. But if you hold a button, you could save a preset. So if you move the camera a certain way, then you could hold a button and then boom, you're saving it with that same button that you used to recall. So that's kind of the cool thing about having, something inside the ecosystem is all these different, programming challenges become really simplified, and you can pretty much dream up any way that you want to have your system behave.
Amazing.
That is really awesome.
Yeah, very, very powerful. Those are so cool to have, like, these references of, hey, I want to do this. And then you all are not only saying, here's how you do it, and here's a text-based way of kind of describing that, but also, giving those examples, having the forethought of, hey, we know how our products are used. Yes, I always say there's no such thing as a cookie cutter, because as much as we want to have cookie cutters and how easy life would be, there's really no such thing. But having the forethought to go through and those primary applications that we all have in mind are fantastic and very powerful. And speaking of powerful, one thing that caught my eye when I loaded the designer software was this Q-SYS Reflect Ready graphic that was on our plugin. Tell folks what Q-SYS Reflect is and the benefit they have for that.
Yeah, so Q-SYS Reflect Enterprise Manager is our cloud-based monitoring and management platform. So it's all in the cloud, it's browser-based kind of thing, but it directly connects to the core and the peripherals on your network. So if you could be over, on the other side of the world, be able to access your system, let's say you have a bug or you need to, adjust something for the customer, you can do that from anywhere. It makes remote commissioning super easy. It makes a lot of things easy, but having the plugin inside of there means that if you go into the properties for that plugin and select is managed, that means that plugin creates that means that plugin becomes a peripheral. So that device is now considered part of the Q-SYS monitoring peripherals, and then you'll be able to see the status of that button panel. You'll be able to make sure that everything's up and running. If there is something wrong and the button panel goes down off the network for whatever reason, you can dream up all kinds of issues that systems have because of network issues or something. You'll get an alert. You'll get alerts for that, and then you can remotely access and see what's going on. Maybe fix the issue remotely versus having to send someone on site. In addition to that, I did want to note one thing. If you could go back one slide, I think. So in the plugin, one of the things that is beneficial with Reflect, because you can remotely manage things, we've made it really easy for you to test downstream control functionality. So let's say I used to work for an integrator. I would sit in a room. I was a programmer, and the button panel's over on the other side of the room or something, and you're just trying to test whether the functionality is working. Well, we've actually put buttons inside of the plugin so that you can test that functionality. Let's say maybe you're not in the room, maybe you're remote. You can test all of that control functionality and make sure things are working. And then, you could go up and press the buttons after you've gotten everything working. So it makes it really easy for you to, program those things, test them without having to get up and, sit back down and all that. And that was one of the things that I used to have to do a lot. And we've made that, pretty much, you don't have to do that anymore. You can test all of your logic just with those buttons, and then, hit the button when you're ready. So
that's very handy. As a programmer myself in my past career, I can tell you that would make your life a lot better. Although maybe you need that exercise sometimes, but still.
Very cool. Well, very good. This has been fantastic bit of information. We're all super excited for this plugin, and for folks who were wanting to hear more about the KDWP8-2 itself, there's actually we at Key Digital are dropping a episode of Coffee with Key this month, where we're going to dive into that, a little bit of a deeper technical dive. And then Emily, though, for folks who want to learn more about Q-SYS, and maybe it's just getting started or it's this plugin specifically, now's your chance to please go ahead and plug whatever would be helpful to the folks watching today.
Yeah, so a few things, Q-SYS.com, go check it out if you haven't heard of Q-SYS. Another thing, whether you know Q-SYS or you don't, definitely join Q-SYS communities for developers. This is a huge group forum where we talk about Q-SYS. If people have, programming questions or questions about the ecosystem, I also post releases in a releases group and communities. So definitely join that. And then if you have any questions about Q-SYS in general, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Emily Eicher, EICHER, and I'll be happy to chat with you, and especially about this plugin, because I'm super pumped about it.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you very much. Dwayne, anything you'd like to add, sir?
I mean, I'm just, as I mentioned before, we're very excited about this being a part of the Technology Partner Program with Q-SYS, and very excited to have this plugin actually out there now. It is beta for hopefully just about a month, and then it'll be full blown. And but it is available now, and so Jonathan, you already pulled down the software, and I'm doing the same thing here in the background, and we are very excited about this, Emily, and want to thank you for your time today. Thank all the people at QSC and Q-SYS for all their work on this. It's really exciting. You've taken our product and even improved on some functionality because of the Q-SYS ecosystem, and we're excited about that as well.
Absolutely. We're super excited as well, and thank you so much for the opportunity to chat with your customers, and I hope that this product helps a lot of people.
Well, everyone, we want to thank you for joining us today. Emily, thanks again. Jonathan, as always, you did such a great job. Check out Jonathan's Coffee with Key that dives in a little bit deeper on our KDWP8-2. And just check us all out at keydigital.com, sales@keydigital.com, as well as Q-SYS.com and QSC.com. Thank you all and have a great day.